Good morning, fellow mathematicians. Today we're going to be talking about number operations, integer operations. So we have talked about the real number system and briefly talked about all of the different types of numbers within the real number system. We've worked on whole number operations, and now we're going to talk about integer operations. So remember from our previous lesson, integers are the whole numbers and their opposites. So if you take a look at the number lines that I have here to help us out, those are all integers. They're not decimals, they're not fractions, but they are negative values and positive values and zero. So we're going to use that number line to help us, and I would highly encourage you to use the number line when you are practicing this on your own. All right, so our first problem is -1 plus 3. So we're going to start here on the number line at -1. And if we're adding a positive 3 is going to go this way. So from -1, we're going to jump 3 units to the right. And we land on our answer. So our answer is 2. All right, let's take a look at number 2. So we have -4 plus a -6. So we're going to start here at -4. And if we're adding a -6, -6 is telling us to go 6 units to the left. So from our starting point, we're going to jump 6 units to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we end up at -10. Number 3, we have -7 plus 6. So our starting point is -7. And adding a positive 6 tells us to go to the right 6 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we wind up at -1. So notice the difference here. So number 3 was plus 6, number 2 was plus a -6. So that's -6 is what made us go in the left, and this positive 6 is what made us go to the right. All right, let's take a look at number 4. Number 4, we're starting at +4, and we're adding a -4. If we add a -4, we're going to move in the left direction. 1, 2, 3, 4 units, and we wind up at 0. Give you a chance to get those written down. I have provided a link for you for an online number line. If you don't have access to one right in front of you, you can use that online one. All right, next problems. Let's look at number 5. Number 5, we have -7 minus -1. Now remember, from our first lesson, we don't talk about subtraction in this class, because subtraction is just a made-up operation by mathematicians because they're too lazy to write what's actually happening. So we keep that first number the same, and we're going to rewrite this as addition. That was what our first assignment was in this class. So remember that whenever we see a subtraction sign, we say add the opposite. So we're going to add the opposite of -1, which would be a +1. So now let's see what our answer would be. We start at -7, and if we add a +1, we are going to go 1 unit to the right. And our answer would be -6. I would highly encourage you to pause the video at some point, try the problems ahead of me, and then you can check yourself as you go. Number 6, we have 7 minus, subtraction sign. We can't say that. So it's really going to be 7 plus the opposite of -5, which is +5. Now we can evaluate it. So we have +6. Oh, sorry, what am I doing? We're starting at +7, my bad. So we're starting at +7 and we're adding 5. So if we're adding 5, we're moving 5 units to the right. So we're jumping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we land at +12. All right, let's take a look at number 7. Number 7 says -1 minus, oh no, we're not talking about subtraction in this class. So that's really -1 plus the opposite of -1, which would be +1. So when we go to evaluate this, we're going to start at -1 and we're adding 1. So we're moving 1 unit to the right. When we move 1 unit to the right, our answer would be 0. Let's take a look at number 8. We have -3, oh, no minus. When we see that subtraction sign, we need to say add the opposite. So we have -3 plus the opposite of -6, which would be +6. So we're going to start at -3, and if we're adding a +6, we're moving 6 units to the right. So we're jumping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and our answer is +3. So you say, Ms. Bauer, why are we rewriting this? Well, I'm going to show you. We're going to get the same answer no matter what way we think about it. But when you have that subtraction sign, you have to think about double negatives and you have to think about all this crazy stuff. So let's do number 8 without rewriting it. So if we start here at -3 like we did on the last one, and we're subtracting a -6, well, the subtraction on the negative is going to reverse us. So anytime you see that negative, it's going to reverse directions. So we're going 6 units to the right, and we wind up at the same thing. Now, to me, subtracting a negative and flipping directions is a little confusing. So that is why it is much easier to change this to add the opposite of that value. So this is kind of like when you play Uno and you play a reverse and then someone plays a reverse again. It's what it is. It's a double reverse. All right, let's go through a few more problems. Number 9, we have -10 plus 1. Hey, it has a plus sign, so we don't have to rewrite anything. It's already addition. So we're going to start at -10, and we're adding 1, so we're moving 1 unit to the right, lands us at -9. Let's look at number 10. It's -13 minus -4. We don't want that subtraction sign. We want it to be an addition problem. So go ahead and try to rewrite that as an addition problem before I do. All right, I hope you got it. I'm going to go ahead and erase my marks so I don't write over it. So you should have written negative 13 plus the opposite of negative 4, which is 4. So now when we go to evaluate this problem, it's so much easier because I don't have to think about double negatives. I don't have to think about reverse, anything like that. I can just answer the problem. So we're starting at negative 13. We're adding 4, so we're moving to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4 units, and your answer should be negative 9. All right, let's look at 11. 11 is 13 minus a negative 6. We don't want that subtraction sign, so I want you to rewrite that as an addition problem. I'm going to give you a few seconds to do that. All right, you should have 13 plus the opposite of negative 6, which is 6. So now when we go to evaluate it, we start at positive 13. We're adding 6, so that means we're moving 6 units to the right. We're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we land at positive 19. All right, let's take a look at number 12. Number 12 has 2 12s in it. Isn't that funny? All right, 12 plus negative 12, so we don't have to rewrite anything because it's already an addition problem, so we can do that. It's awesome. So we're going to start here at positive 12, and if we add a negative 12, we're moving 12 units to the left. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and we wind up at 0. All right, well, like I said, you're going to have a link to an online number line if you want to use that. Happy mathing.